Good afternoon po. Good afternoon. Welcome po sa DPWH Sorsogon 2nd, Barangay Paghaluban, Sorsogon. Today is July 2, 2026. Scheduled for today's previous conference for the contracts 26FL0023, construction, completion of multi-purpose building, Barangay Hall, Barangay Bagacay, Barangay Lago, Barangay Paghaluban, Barcelona, Sorsogon. And 25 CSFL 01 consulting services for the conduct of Geologic and Geotechnical investigation for FY 2026 infrastructure projects. Sorsogon 2nd District Engineering Office, Sorsogon 2nd Congressional District. Present here today for today's pre-bid conference are the following: Joanna Sicalagos, back chairman. Lady D. Pura Jr., back vice chairman. Leia Infotenares, back member. Cecil LDBC, back member. Glenn Official, back secretariat. Dave Kill, DPWH. Jessalo R. Immediate, back member. Grace E. Perez from Planning and Design section. Yonda Acosta from FHG Construction. Lloyda Acosta. Madam Chair, for today's pre-bid conference, meron na po.
Okay, since we have a quorum, this pre-bid conference is not called to order. Okay, the agenda for this pre-bid meeting is as follows.
Sarang slide. Next.
Okay, the agenda for this pre-bid meeting is as follows. First, basic contract data, requirements and bidding documents, eligibility criteria, documents to be submitted by the bidder, including technical and financial proposals, criteria and procedures for the eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification and award, questions, comments from bidders and replies at back, and other representatives of the procuring entity. Summary of proceedings, including bid bulletins to be issued, common reasons for bidders' disqualifications, and other matters. And to discuss the basic contract data is Engineer Grace Perez.
For contract ID, with contract ID number 25 CSFL01, consulting services for the conduct of Geologic and Geotechnical investigation for FY 2026 infrastructure projects, Sorsogon 2nd District Engineering Office. Important aspects of the procurement, method of selection, quality cost-based evaluation selection. The technical passing score is 75 points. Criteria for technical evaluation: experience of the firm, 10 points. Qualification of proposed personnel, 80 points. Methodology, 10 points with a total of 100 points. Weighted percentage for technical proposal rate, 65%. Financial proposal rate, 35%. Next is the approved budget for the contract is 6,709,899.70 pesos, inclusive of 5% contingency. Bids exceeding this amount shall not be accepted. Contract duration for this project is 38 calendar days. Next is the contents of the technical proposal. The following shall be contents of the technical proposal that the BAC shall be checking using the pass or fail criterion during the preliminary evaluation of bids, in accordance with Section 54.2.c of the IRR of RA 12009. The forms are the technical proposal submission form, consultant's references, comments and suggestions of consultant on the terms of reference and on data, services, and facilities. Description of the methodology and work plan for performing the project, team composition and task, curriculum vitae for proposed professional staff, time schedule for professional personnel, activity or work is scheduled, omnibus sworn statement in accordance with Section 54 of this IRR, and field job certificate of registration in accordance with Section 20 of this IRR. Here are the form sample. Next is the contents of the financial proposal. The following shall be the contents of the financial proposal that the bank shall be checking in accordance with Section 54.4 of the IRR of RA 12009. Financial proposal submission form, summary of costs, breakdown of price per activity, breakdown of remuneration per activity, reimbursable per activity, miscellaneous expenses, other documents required in the bidding documents. Here are the sample forms for the financial proposal. Important dates to remember. The deadline for the submission of proposals of technical and financial is on July 14, 2026 at 10 a.m. The schedule for the opening of technical proposals is on July 14, 2026 at 10 a.m. right after the deadline and closing submission of bids. Bids and bid security must remain valid until 120 calendar days from the date of the opening of bids. And then the schedule for the opening of financial proposals is on July 21, 2026 at 10 a.m. for those who pass the minimum technical score of 75 points. For the bid security shall be limited to bid securing declaration or at least any other form in accordance with the following amount. 2% of ABC if bid security is in cash or cashier's or manager's check issued by the bank. 5% of ABC if bid security is a bank draft or guarantee or a revocable letter of credit issued by a bank or a surety bond. And last is the bid securing declaration from RA 12009 form. For surety bond, callable upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company, it must be accompanied by a certification from the Insurance Commission, which declares that the surety or insurance company is authorized to issue such security. The certification must be original and specific for this particular project. For information of shortlisted bidders, taxes under bid datasheet ITB clause 13.5, 15% withholding tax on the gross amount of local currency payments to the consultant, 12% value-added tax on local remuneration if applicable. Other taxes prescribed by the Bureau of Internal Revenue under Revenue Regulations number 14/2018 as may be amended from time to time. Note, the consultant shall anticipate the implementation of any new or amended tax measures to be imposed by the government during the contract period and shall consider such taxes in the preparation of their financial proposal. Cost of bidding documents is 10,000 pesos. The bidder shall submit one original and two copies of the first and second components of its bid. The address for the submission of bids is at Back Secretariat Office, DPWH Sorsogon 2nd DEO, Barangay Tayawi, Sorsogon. Here's the sample of the bid datasheet for this project and the special conditions of contract. This data is downloadable at the PhilJob website or the DPWH website. Question and answer session.
Kung sa checklist, dito kami na insecurity. Dito sa ano siya, PowerPoint sa technical. Pero sa ano ka, nasa big box ka. Marakain ka.
Ang percentage. Ay, ito lang dito sa ano. yung discuss lang percentage. Pero ang form di ko na. Pero dito lang ito.
Nakasakay man siya ma'am sa Paghaluban po.
Oo, nakasabay mo. Kaya lang, dun ka sa ano. May nag-ano, chat.
Maramang po.
Maraming. Ano nga dyan? Baka meron
Yung
kang-
sa payments po, saan po kami magpapagawa
Oo, pwede naman ito. Kaya lang.
So, dahil 14
technical.
Financial ba? Kasi parang wala maka hindi siya nakasasali na parang kapag nasa buhay. 75.
For inquiries, email your inquiries to procurement2@gmail.com or the Bank Secretariat initial.glenn@dpwh.gov.ph. Requests for clarification must be submitted or emailed at least 10 days before the deadline of submission or no later than July 6, 2026. A bid bulletin containing the replies to clarifications and any amendments to the RFP is applicable will be issued not later than July 9, 2026. The minutes of the private conference shall be prepared not later than 5 calendar days after the private conference and shall be made available to shortlisted bidders not later than 5 calendar days upon written request.
Ito ba?
Ang bago, ha?
For basic contract data with contract ID 26FL0023 with contract name Construction Completion of Multipurpose Building Barangay Hall, Barangay Bagacay, Barangay Lago, and Barangay Paghaluban, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Cluster 2. Contract location is at Barangay Bagacay, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay Lago, Barcelona, Sorsogon, and Barangay Paghaluban, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract is 8,910,000 pesos. Source of fund is FY 2026. Contract duration is 116 calendar days. Predetermined and workable number of days is 20 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents is 10,000 pesos. Submission of bids is scheduled on July 16, 2026 until 10 a.m. Opening of bids shall proceed immediately after closing receipt of bids. Major category of work is BAC, WOPLC. Project description for Barangay Bagacay. The project covers the completion of the multipurpose building, Barangay Hall, in Barangay Bagacay with a building dimension of 10 meters by 7 meters with stair and balcony. The scope of work includes removal of some existing concrete slabs for the construction of stairs from ground to floor to second floor. Ground floor to second floor. Replacement of old slab for balcony, fabrication of railings, structural and masonry works, roof deck, tiling works, painting, installation of doors and windows, electrical and plumbing works, construction of toilet and other necessary finishing works. Upon completion, the building will be served as a functional space for meetings, seminars, and other various community gatherings. The objective of this project is to complete the multipurpose building, Barangay Hall in Barangay Bagacay, Barcelona, Sorsogon, in order to provide a functional, safe, and adequate facility for effective governance and community activities. Project description of Barangay Lago. The scope of works for this project includes the construction of a 9.9 meters by 8 meters multipurpose barangay hall. Works cover the construction of structural components, masonry, roofing doors and windows installation, and finishing work such as flooring and painting. It also includes the barangay captain office or storage room, lobby, waiting area, common toilet, and pantry hand washing area, as well as plumbing and electrical installations and other miscellaneous works necessary to make the facility fully operational. The objective is to establish a functional and accessible barangay hall that enhances the delivery of public services, supports efficient governance operations, provides adequate facility for barangay officials and constituents, and promotes responsive and organized local governance to improve infrastructure. For project description of Barangay Paghaluban, the project covers the completion of the existing multipurpose building, Barangay Hall in Barangay Paghaluban, with a building dimension of 22.185 meters by 8.625 meters. The scope of work includes replacement of concrete stairs, roof trusses and roofing, false ceiling, flooring, painting, installation of doors and windows, electrical and plumbing works, construction of toilet and pantry facilities, and other necessary finishing works. Upon completion, the building will serve as a functional space for senior citizen and SK training and various community activities. The objective is to complete the multipurpose building Barangay Hall in Barangay Paghaluban, Barcelona, Sorsogon, in order to provide a functional, safe, and adequate facility for effective governance and community activities. Here are the geotech photos taken during the validation at Barangay Bagacay, as well as the environmental clearance. Next is the proof of ownership. Shown to us here is the geotech photos taken at Barangay Lago and the environmental clearance. Next is the proof of ownership at Barangay Lago. Next photos shown are the geotech photos taken at Barangay Paghaluban. Those are the environmental clearance and the proof of ownership. Here are the certification which states that there are no overlapping projects with this project and that the project uses the CMPD. Next is the detailed engineering design plan for Barangay Bagacay. Next photos are the detailed engineering design plan for Barangay Lago. Finally, the detailed engineering design plan for Barangay Paghaluban. Requirements of bidding documents is instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, bid data sheet, specifications, drawings, bill of quantities, forms. Here's the sample of bid data sheet for this project. And next is special conditions of contract. These are all downloadable at the DPWH website or the FIRTOX website. For Barangay Bagacay's bill of quantities. Barangay Lago, bill of quantities. And for Barangay Paghaluban. Minimum manpower requirement. Project manager must have handled infrastructure projects. Project engineer must be DPWH accredited PE. Materials engineer, DPWH accredited ME. General construction foreman must have handled similar projects. Safety and health officer must have undergone 40 hours basic construction safety and health training. Minimum equipment requirement, dump truck all models, 1 unit, backhoe 1 unit, low bed trailer truck 1 unit, truck mounted crane 1 unit.
Key points: the lowest calculated responsive bid will be used as criteria for award. The amount of advance payment is 15% of the total contract price for this to be made in lump sum. All progress payments shall be first charged against the advance payment. until the latter has been fully exhausted at the option of the procuring entity. The contractor shall submit the program of work to the procuring entity within 10 days of the delivery from the notice of award. Submission and receipt of bid. Sinusunod po natin ang two-envelope system where the first envelope contains eligibility and technical requirements and the second envelope contains the financial proposal. Bid validity is 120 calendar days. For original bid po, ganyan po, original technical, original financial, enclosed in a single envelope. Mark original bid. Each envelope should contain the name of the contractor bid, name and address of the bidders, recipient back, procuring entity, and the markings do not open before the date and time of the opening bids. Ganun din po sa ating copy 1. Yung copy 1 po at saka yung original bid shall be then enclosed in another envelope. Each envelope should contain the name of the contractor bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient back, procuring entity, and the markings do not open before the date and time of the opening bids. Unsealed and unmarked bid shall not be accepted. Not compressed and password protected shall not be accepted. Improperly sealed and marked bid shall be accepted. Improperly compressed and password protected shall be accepted. Submission and receipt of bids. Bid notifications shall be submitted before the deadline of submission of bids. The bidder shall not be allowed to retrieve its original bid, however, shall submit new bid equally sealed, properly identified with its original bid, and marked as a notification. For letter withdrawals must be received prior to the deadline for submission and receipt of bids. For bids withdrawn the interval between the deadline and expiration of bid validity, the bid security shall be forfeited. For electronic bid submission po, bidder shall send another bid equally secured, properly identified, and labeled as a modification of the one previously submitted. The time indicated in the latest bid receipt page generated shall be the official time of submission of bids. Meron po tayong two modes of submission bid. The bidder may only one mode lang po sa pag-submit ng bid. For manual submission of bid, yan po ay sa Back Secretariat Office, DPWH Sorsogon, 2nd BDO, Barangay, Paghaluban, Sorsogon. For electronic submission of bids naman po yan sa electronic bids _Sorsogon 2 at dpwh.gov.ph. Eligibility criteria. The following persons or entities shall be allowed to participate in the bidding of infrastructure project. Letter A, duly licensed Filipino citizens or sole proprietorship, partnerships duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, and of which at least 60% of the interest belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Corporations duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, and of which at least 60% of the outstanding capital stock belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Cooperatives duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, or persons, entities forming themselves into a joint venture as per section 52.4.2.1 of the INFRA. Foreign bidders may be eligible to participate in the procurement of infrastructure projects when provided for any other treaty or international or executive agreement as provided in Section 4 of the Act of RA 12009. Bidders must have a valid PICAM license, must have a single largest completed contract that is similar to the contract we bid, at least 50% of the ABC. The single largest completed contract shall be supported by the owner's certificate of final acceptance, issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or a final rating of at least satisfactory in the CPES or similar performance and monitoring system. Contractors under small A and small B categories without similar experience, provided the cost of the contract to bid is not more than the ARCC of registration. Bidders must have an NFCC at least equal to the ABC. Eligibility and technical documents to be submitted by the bidders. Contractors, applicants who wish to participate in the bidding must be in the document request list (DRL) of the PhilJEP's website and secure a printout copy showing that they are included in the list and are encouraged to enroll in the DPWH Civil Work Application (CWA) at the DPWH Procurement Service, 5th floor, DPWH Building, Bonifacio Drive, Port Area, Manila. While those who are already enrolled keep their records current and updated. Contractors' eligibility to the project will be determined using the DPWH Contractor Profile Eligibility Process, CPEP, and subject for further FOS qualification. We encourage our bidders po to enroll the CWA to facilitate the fast evaluation of their eligibility. If registered na po in the DPWH ito po ang documents na kailangan submit. Pick up license and registration in case of joint venture. Statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts. Statement of bidders' single largest completed contract. Computation of the NFCC. Valid joint venture agreement if applicable. If hindi naman po nag-enroll sa CWA, ito po ang mga documents na kailangan submit. PhilJOB Certificate of Registration. Pick up license and registration in case of joint venture. Statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts. Statement of bidders SLCC, computation of the NFCC, valid joint venture agreement if applicable. Mandatory requirements, documents comprising the bid, technical components. Bid security in a form of cash or manager's check, bank draft, bank guarantee, 2% of the ABC. Surety bond callable upon demand, 5% of the ABC. Bid securing declaration as per IR 0094. Please be guided po ulit sa ating bid securing declaration and omission po ng mga clauses na ating bid securing declaration shall be grounds for disqualification po. Project requirements, organizational chart for the contracting bid, list of contractors' key personnel, list of contractors' major equipment units owned, lease or under purchase agreement. Latest General Information Sheet, GIS, reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission. For corporations lang po ito. For sole proprietorship po, hindi na po ito kailangan. ISO 9000-2015 certification or its latest version as applicable for Department Order 110 Series of 2024. Omnibus Form Statement, duly notarized. Please be guided po ulit ng ating panibagong format ng Omnibus Form Statement and omission po sa mga clauses ng Omnibus Form Statement shall be grounds po for disqualification. Statement of the bidders, all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature, and complexity of the contract to bid. The statement shall include all information required in the bidding documents. And be careful po, dapat po nakastate po ang lahat natin ongoing. Any misinformation po shall be considered po as violation po and grounds po for disqualification po. Yan po ang sample natin yung bid security declaration, omnibus form statement. Punta naman po tayo sa financial proposal. Ang laman naman po niya ng bid form, summary bid prices and the bid of quantities, detailed estimate including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of materials, labor and equipment, cash flow by quarter, month, and payment schedule, other document requirements in the bidding documents. Yan po ang sample ng ating bid form. For detailed evaluation of bid, ang purpose po niya is to determine the lowest calculated bid by establishing correct calculated prices of bids. Ranking calculated total bid prices from lowest to highest. Ang method is a non-discretionary criteria which shall be used, which shall include consideration of completeness of bids and minor arithmetical corrections. In case of discrepancies between bid figures versus bid price in words shall correct. Total price per item times versus the unit price for the item times the quantity. The unit price for the item times the quantity shall prevail. Stated total price versus the actual sum of prices of component items. The actual sum of prices of component items shall prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate versus the unit cost in the bid of quantities. The unit cost in the bid of quantities shall prevail. The reminders po sa ating mga dealers of the no contact rule, prohibition on communication with bidders from bid evaluation until the award of contract. For post qualification po, ang purpose is to determine whether the lowest calculated bid complies with and is responsive to all requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents, to be declared as the lowest calculated and responsive bid. Ang method po is a non-discretionary pass or fail criterion which shall be used to verify, validate, and ascertain all statements and documents submitted by the lowest calculated bid. Post-qualification po, in compliance po with DO9 Series of 2012, key personnel's verification. If a proposed key personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that 1. The personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded the contract. 2. He/she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office. Also to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should specify in the submitted bid the location of the equipment where they can be inspected. If any piece of equipment is not in the specified location, the bidder shall be post-disqualified. Common reasons for bidders post-disqualification. Late submission of bid, submission of patently insufficient bid. Under patently insufficient bid, submission of expired field job certificate of registration. Failure to include certificate of employment, contract agreement among permanent personnel and staff of the firm. Failure to submit the required bid form. Submission of incomplete, insufficient, defective documents due to non-inclusion or omission of mandatory provisions and statements for the bidder. Submission of the bid security declaration, omnibus form statement, joint venture agreement without the legal name, capacity, and signature of the bidder, its authorized representative. Nomination of key personnel of a profession different from what is required by the bidding documents. Failure to submit the required certification of key personnel as per DO 9 series of 2012. Failure to comply with the minimum number of key personnel and equipment. Failure to submit proof of ownership, lease or purchase agreement of pledge. Insufficient LCC, insufficient SLCC.
Okay. May application pa ba? Wala na. So since we have no more matters to discuss,